Okay, this video is going to help you review your strategies for your reading benchmark that's coming up. So this is a paired passage, which means that I have two selections, one right after the other one. And there's reinforcing the past and the Cuddy Sark. And then I have questions for both selections. Now even though these are paired passages, I'm going to first treat them like so. I'm going to first have two different colors, pink and yellow. And everything for reinforcing the past is going to be pink. So I'm going to just go ahead and say, here are my questions for reinforcing the past. And then the Cuddy Sark is pink. So I'm going to go to my Cuddy Sark questions and I'm going to highlight those pink. So I'm going to put my pink highlighter away because I'm doing reinforcing the past first. So now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remember that we use unwrap for our strategies. So the U stands for underline my text features and make predictions. So first of all, I have a title. It's called Reinforcing the Past. So I'm going to think about what that means. If I reinforce something, means that I make it stronger. So reinforcing the past. I'm not sure what this is going to be about. So now my next text feature is a photograph. And you might this photograph is, and that's okay. So maybe you think it's some kind of a building and it looks like it. But I know that this is Tower of Pisa. And I'm going to ask myself why. Why would they put this here? So I'm not quite sure yet, but I know it probably has something to do with maybe this is old, since we're reinforcing the past. I'm not sure. It just gets me to start thinking about the past. So now I'm going to go to my next page, and that's it. I don't have any other text features, so that was pretty easy. So there's my U. Next is I'm going to number my paragraphs. Well, my paragraphs are already numbered. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight my numbered paragraphs, and then I'm going to use those numbers to help me with my nonfiction summary strategy, which is BME, beginning, middle, end. So let's do that. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So for my nonfiction strategy, my nonfiction summary strategy is BME. This stands for beginning, middle, and end. I know from writing many essays that the beginning usually starts with an introduction and it's usually the first paragraph. So I'm going to say the first paragraph is the beginning. Now I know that the end is the conclusion, and it's usually one paragraph. So I'm going to say that paragraph 5 is the end. So the middle of the story is going to be paragraphs 2 through 4. And the middle is the most important part. The middle is where I'm going to find my author's purpose questions. The middle is where I'm going to find my text structure questions. The middle is where the story takes place, okay? So now I've numbered my paragraphs and I've figured out that there's 5. I've kind of set up my BME, so I'm done with that. Now the W stands for write the questions in a way I understand them. So now let's go to the questions. So here we go. Reinforcing the past to answer the questions, 17 through 21. We'll start with 17. The author wrote this selection most likely to. Okay, I'm always going to have one of these. This is my author's purpose question. Okay, so did the author write this to describe something? Convince? Are she trying, or he trying to convince people of something? Explain something? Or demonstrate something? So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to make myself a note. They always try to trick me with answers that are from one small part. But I'm not going to let those trick me. I know that I'm looking for the big idea and not the details. So let's go. This is number 17. So I'm going to go to the front and I'm going to write it down here because it's about the big picture. And I'm going to say, why did the author write this? What would the author bother to write this? What was the... Okay, pause the video, pause and write down. My next question, 18, says, which detail, now we're looking for details, from the selection explains why one attempt to fix the lean made the tower lean even more? Okay, so now when I'm reading, if I find out this, I'm going to stop. One attempt to fix the lean made the tower lean even more. So I'm going to put number 18 over here. And so I'm going to ask myself, how did one attempt to, I'm going to look at my question again. Fix the lean. First. See, here's my tower and it's leaning. So apparently they tried to fix it, but it made it worse. So I need to find the detail where it talks about that. Okay, so when it starts talking about that, I'm going to go back and see if I can figure out the answer to that question. So, let's go on to number 19. Which sentence from selection is an assertion made by the author? Let's circle that. Okay. I'm going to tell you some words that they can use on this. All an assertion is an opinion. So on your test, they can say opinion, they can say assertion, or they can say commonplace assertion. These are all opinions. If they're looking for a fact, they can say fact, or they can say factual claim. Those are facts. So I'm looking for an opinion. And remember, an opinion cannot be proven. Okay? So, number 20. Which idea does the information in paragraph 2 support? So, I'm going to go to paragraph 2. I'm going to put a box around it. And this was number 20. I'm going to say, what is this about? So after I read paragraph 2, I'm going to go answer that question because it's only about paragraph 2. So now I'm going to go to, oops, I forgot to highlight that. Now I'm going to go to number 21. The reader can conclude, or I can say the reader can assume. That means I'm making an educated guess. I'm making an educated assumption. Because of what I read, I can assume or conclude that the tower will most likely what? So I'm going to go back to my passage. And I'm going to write number 21. What can I conclude about the tower? Okay, so here we go. Parsing the past. Now what I'm going to do is what I would do, what you would do on your own is read and hashtag each paragraph. So I'm going to read it for you and show you your hashtagging, okay? The city of Pisa is located in the beautiful region of Tuscany in central Italy. Pisa is famous for its grand white marble structures. The most famous of these structures is the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Construction of the tower started in 1173 and was finally completed in 1370. It was an elegant 8-story bell tower. The tower is topped by a bell chamber and has an internal circular staircase of nearly 300 steps. Its arches and columns give the tower a dignified air. So this article is mainly, this paragraph is mainly describing the beautiful Tower of Pisa. Okay? By the time construction on the tower had reached the 3rd and 4th floors, it was clear that the tower was going to be a magnificent structure, except for one problem. It had started to tilt. Architects tried to correct the problem as they built the remaining floors of the tower, but the structure continued to lean. The architects even situated the bell chamber toward the north, away from the tower's southward tilt, in an attempt to balance the tower. The tower continued to lean. So I'm going to say paragraph 2 is about the tower begins to tilt or lean. Tilt and lean are synonyms. So now I know that question 20 is about paragraph 2, so I'm going to go try to answer it. Okay? So number 20 says, which idea does the information in paragraph support? Now I know that it's about the tower starting to tilt. Okay. The tower was difficult to build without modern technology. I didn't read anything about modern technology or the tower being built, so I'm going to cross that one off. The problem with the tower was evident early in its construction. Well, let's look. So it says that by the time the construction had reached the 3rd and 4th floors. Now let's see, it has 8 stories, so the 3rd and the 4th floors are pretty early in the construction. So I'm going to go and I'm going to say maybe, but I'm still going to read the rest of my answer choices. The addition of the bell tower caused the tower to lean more. Now I know they said something about the bell tower, but let's see. They tried to correct the problem as they built the remaining floors of the tower, but the structure continued to lean. The architect even situated the bell chamber toward the north, away from the southward tilt, in an attempt to balance the tower, but the tower continued to lean. Now, it made it worse. It doesn't really say it made it worse. It just says it continued to lean. So, I'm going to say probably not. I think it's more evident that the problem was caught early. The construction of the tower was a slower process than expected. It didn't say anything about it being slower than expected. Okay. So I answered that one question because I knew it was only about paragraph 2. Over the centuries, preservation efforts have focused less on correcting the iconic lean and more on figuring out a way to keep the tower from leaning any farther. In 1934, to stabilize the tower included injecting concrete in stone foundation, but some of the concrete seeped under the foundation, causing the tower to lean even more. Other ideas for maintaining the tower have been quite outlandish. One commission even suggested attaching helium balloons to the tower to hold it up, but the suggestion was